Good morning. I am just setting up so that we can all go live together. Good morning. So this week has gone super fast. It's day 5 of the Confidence and Clarity Challenge. I've moved to a different spot in my office. I did a load of decluttering yesterday. This challenge has actually really inspired me to make some changes in my life. And I have been so I've had some real challenges this week, bizarrely, and it's given me the opportunity to really walk my talk. So this isn't just stuff that I am sharing from books I've read and courses. This is stuff that comes up in my life as much as it comes up in yours, and nobody is immune from challenges and things that cause fear and negativity. So it's been a really interesting week, and I've loved hanging out with you, and I've learned a lot myself, and I've been loving getting your messages. So good morning to everybody who is here. So I hope you got on well yesterday. If you remember, some of the challenges that I set you were around positive mindset, good morning, and doing some little micro actions to increase your positivity. So I hope you had a chance to have a go at some of those. Good morning, Danny. If you've missed any of the challenges and the challenge days this week, you can catch up on YouTube, and I've been sending them out on email as well. So today is all about how to make a no-lose decision. Now, you might think there's no such thing as a no-lose decision. I always need to know what the answer is going to be. I always need to know I'm going to get what I want. I always need to feel like I'm winning. But I'm going to show you how there is, in fact, a no-lose solution, and it's all to do with your mindset. So again, it's very simple, not always easy, but it is simple to do. And we're also going to be talking about the power of yes, what happens when we say yes, and how that can really bring the energy, trust and love into your life and into your business. Okay, so let's start off with this concept of the no-lose solution. So how many of you are listening to me now and thinking there's no such thing as a no-lose solution? Maybe some of you are, but I believe that there is a no-lose solution, because whatever solution you choose to a problem, whatever decision you make, whether it's decision A or whether it's decision B, there's always something that we can learn from making that decision. Because going back to some of the issues that I've been talking about earlier in the week, we don't have any control over anything that is happening around us, which is a little bit scary for some people, but it's the absolute truth. As I said the other day, if you can't control your own thoughts inside your own head, you haven't really got half a chance of controlling what people think about you, what people do, what goes on around you. You kind of just got to give up any issues of control. So that means when you make a decision, you can only ever make a decision from the place that you're in when you make it, and you can only make the decision based on how you feel at the time, with the knowledge you had at the time. So you can never make the wrong decision, because you have to act on what feels right at the time, and that's about tuning into your intuition. Now, I've been listening to some really interesting podcasts recently about how, as well as having intelligence in our brain, and obviously the nervous system is largely centered in our brain and down our spinal cord, and obviously through all our neurons all over our body, all our nerve endings, but we also have like a mini brain in every single cell, and we also have a large area of kind of neural networks in our gut and also in our heart. So when you're making a decision, as well as using your brain and weighing up A and B on a kind of cerebral intellectual level, you can also make decisions based on how it feels in your heart, and particularly how it feels in your gut. And you probably all had a situation where you've met somebody, or you've gone to do something, and you've had a physical reaction to that decision. And that is when your body is actually telling you, is this really aligned with what you want to do? Or maybe you should think about it in a little bit more detail. And so our bodies actually have this deeper sense of knowledge and knowing. And this is, again, going back to my favorite T word, trust. So trust in your body that if you start to have a gut reaction to something, 9 times out of 10 it is right. And 9 times out of 10 we don't listen to our gut. We tend to think about what we should do or what looks good on paper. So it's about taking that back, getting out of your head and into your heart and into your body, and truly taking those aligned decisions. So when you've reflected on what's the right decision to do, if you choose A, that is right. If you choose B, that is right. Because you can't choose any other, you can't make any other decision at the time. So we can make no-lose solutions by truly listening to our intuition and connecting with our gut instinct. And it's a really good place to start to try making decisions from, because our bodies are more powerful than we think, and we're not always aware of the connection between our mind and our body is super powerful. So trusting your body is really important to make no-lose solutions. Also, just to think about generally, because everything is changing, and we've talked about this, because everything's constantly changing and growing, any decision that you make at one particular time, it can never always be the right decision, because the right decision can become the wrong decision if all the circumstances and experiences around it then change it. So because everything changes and grows and develops, we can never be sure of any of it anyway. So it's completely pointless going round and round in circles thinking about what is the right decision, because the decision you're making is just one part of the big puzzle of which you have no control. So it's all an illusion, really, that these big decisions that we're making from our headspace, that anything's going to work out or play out in the way that we want it simply is just a total illusion. So we can only do the best with what we've got. Danny's saying, I literally did that, I think it says. Yeah, do share your experiences if this is resonating with you. Danny's saying, I needed to hear this today. Yeah, like it's, do you know what? This whole week, the big word coming up is trust. Trust is such a huge game changer to develop trust. And I've been tested on this myself this week, and I keep going back to that place of what are my highest values. My highest values are love and trust. And so even when the going gets tough, if you stay within your values of love and trust, and you put in some boundaries around that, and so you do protect your energy, and you do have a boundary of where your love and trust goes to, then that is the best way to operate. That's the best way to make decisions, because none of it is under your control, and so you just have to surrender to that process. So in this way, can you see how you can make a no-lose solution? Because there's no right solution. B, all solutions have different stories that play out, which will turn out to be the right story anyway. And C, you have no control over anything anyway. So when you are making a decision, connecting with your intuition, connecting with your gut, that's the best that you could ever have done. You could not have done anything more than that. And when you look back, maybe at old decisions you've made in the past, maybe you don't like making decisions because you think you've made some bad choices. But that choice was the only choice you could have made at that time. You couldn't have done anything different to what you did then. You worked with the best of your knowledge, to the best of your ability. And if you didn't, then learn from that. So the next time you make a decision, think to yourself, am I acting with my highest values in mind? Am I being true to myself? And am I making those decisions on what's important to me? So Danny is saying, I did this morning. I trusted my gut and finally booked into the 1001 Day Mother and Baby Wellbeing Diploma. Yay! Absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to work with you. So yes, trust your gut. If you have that feeling that it's the right thing to do, then just step into your greatness and start that energy and excitement coming in behind. So brilliant. I'm so excited about that, Danny. great to be working with you. And the other Danny from Nurture Nook Essex is saying, totally, I've been in conflict with my heart, with my head, my heart and my gut in the last 3 weeks. Oh, I feel you, and thank you for sharing and being really honest about that. What I would suggest is, your body knows more than you know. So I would really take some time out, get into a space where you have time to think and connect with your intuition. Now, it doesn't have to be like in a really witchy way, like you don't have to get all your cards out. I like doing things like that, but other people don't. You could go out in nature, you could go for a bike ride, you could journal. So, you know, it doesn't, sometimes it's just about the silence that you need. You need the silence and the space to connect with your intuition, because you know more than you think you know, and your head is actually the blocker. It's those chitter chatter, should, this, that, stories, what happened when I did this, what will happen if she does this, all of that noise. That's the stuff that prevents us from stepping into our true greatness. It's when we reconnect with ourselves and think about what we really want and ask for what we really want, which is, as women, we are really poor at doing generally. That's when you really start to get the solutions that you want. Okay, so that's the no lose decision making. Does everyone feel okay around that? I know it might not feel immediately like a weight has lifted from you, but you can make a no lose decision, and I make no lose decisions all of the time. And everything that happens as a result of that decision, you just have to accept that that is the experience that you are going to have. And you have to look for the lessons. Like, you've got to look for the gold in the mud. Okay, there is always something that you can look for. Like this week, I'll tell you a story. I've been having a really tough time in a particular with a particular job that I'm doing with somebody. I'm the client and he's providing a service, and I've had huge levels of frustration and disappointment, and it hasn't met my expectations. But rather than focus on that relationship, what I've done this morning is I've literally left a message for every single one of my team who supports me and is amazing and energizes me, telling them how grateful I am that they are there and giving me all of this stuff that I really appreciate and really lights me up and allows me to do what I need to do. So rather than focusing on that relationship, which I've now made a no lease decision on and made it really boundaried, I'm now taking the lesson from that some relationships aren't good, and even when people say they're going to do things, they don't. And then looking at all the relationships in my life where people do say things that and come through with it and have high integrity, and celebrating them. And because I've celebrated them, like they've said, oh, thanks, I really needed that today because I was feeling a bit down, so you've lifted me up. So it's like really like simple about, again, the quote that I shared. It's not my quote, but I love it. It's your attention goes, your energy flows where your attention goes. So don't put your attention into these areas that are fearful to you or that are negative. So Danny says, I think the first intuition is the most important. If you wanted to say yes when you first thought about something that was your true desire, or not, vice versa, I kind of agree as well. You know, that's our inbuilt survival mechanism, that we have these gut responses to things. So definitely don't ignore that. Okay, so that is I wanted to cover with you about no lease solutions, and that everything changes. Also, you're only going to be a success if you try something. So being a success is so subjective, but if you're not actually in the game or making the decision, then you're never going to be a success because you're not actually doing anything. So to some degree, sometimes you need to make the decision to act, because where you are now, if it's not fulfilling you, you know, nothing changes if nothing changes. So sometimes we have to have that courage and that confidence and that clarity to make a decision that's aligned with us, to move us into a more like the success zone, because where we are right now is not serving us. So this all comes down to trust then. So let's just review a little bit around trust. We covered trust on the first day, and one of the exercises I shared with you was to recognize your capabilities to make great decisions, to achieve in your life, and to look at all the incredible things about you that make you a truly capable human being, so that you can start to trust yourself. All right. So some of the things that I would maybe suggest that you could do, first of all, there's affirmations that I talked about yesterday, which is literally saying out loud or in your head, I trust myself, or putting it up on a big piece of paper in your office, I trust myself. Because if you trust yourself, that is super powerful. And if you trust yourself, you recognize what you're capable of, there's nothing's going to stop you. And no matter how big the challenge, no matter how big the negativity, if you trust yourself that you have the innate ability to achieve what you want to achieve, you will do it. And that future visioning of yourself will pull everything you need in to take you where you want to go. And the other great affirmation to think about is whatever happens in any scenario, I grow and expand anyway. So if you think that if you want to grow and expand, you've again got to keep like learning and developing, and you've got to maybe get a little bit out of your comfort zone. So that's another great affirmation. So that is, whatever happens, I grow and expand. And then that is feeding so nicely into the no-lose solution and the no-lose decision. And then also, let's talk about the power of saying yes. So I had a whole year of my life where I said, this is the year of the yes, and I'm going to say yes to pretty much everything. Not absolutely everything, but pretty much everything. And that took me on some really cool adventures. It took me to some really amazing places. But it also gave me a few challenges as well, so it wasn't all easy. But what I found by doing that and saying yes is that it really energized me, because yes is a positive word. It opens the potential for growth and expansion, and I see it very much connected to love and trust. No is often said based on fear, or based on distrust, or based on the idea of control. So when we say no, that can keep us stuck where we are now. So sometimes saying yes is the real activators. Now I want to caveat this by putting in the idea about boundaries, because obviously if you say yes to everything, you are going to get exhausted and compromised, and maybe get yourself into situations that you're not comfortable with. So the yes that you say has to be the aligned yes. Going back to the intuition piece, it has to be the yes from your inner knowing, okay? And then that yes is the right yes, it's the powerful yes. So you don't always have to say yes to everything, like I did, and pretty much, but you're just saying yes to the aligned things, and then you're trusting that the decision will lead to, you know, new learning and new knowing about yourself, because again, you can't control anything that's going on. So if it feels good, I would give it a big thumbs up. Personally, that's what I do. And this is a really powerful mindset. So the mindset of aligned yes really kind of bursts through fear, and it kind of gets you out of feeling blocked, and it really propels you into the next stage of your life. So I would say one of the exercises from today would be taking some time to connect with your intuition, and to really find out what is your aligned yes, and act on that. And Danny, who shared that she's been really in this quandary for the last 3 weeks, I'd love to know if by doing this you get any insights, and whether it does become a little bit clearer. But remembering that whatever decision you make, maybe today or tomorrow, based on that intuition, is always the right decision anyway, because it's done from the best place and with the most knowledge that you could have known now. And whatever comes from that, there'll be gold, and then there'll be other bits that are more challenging, but it's all a growth and learning experience. And it doesn't matter, because it's all about having fun and being playful, and just being aware that we are in co-creation with everything at all times, and there's nothing that we can do to stop the process, slow it down, make it go this way, not make it go in that way. We've just got to be accepting of everything that's given to us. And that's what I've put as my last point today, is that basically there are no guarantees in this game. Okay, do you know what? I don't even think there's any rules in this game. You know, this life is very much like, you know, when we're a child and we're small and we just are so much dependent on love and support and nurturing. That's so important. And then as we grow older and we start to play, you know, we just play in complete co-creation with everything that's around us, and we don't judge it, and we don't have a story about it, and we don't have limiting beliefs about it. We're just simply in it, and we're moving all the pieces around to make whatever it is that we want to make, and then we're really at ease with that, and we get into a flow state around that, and time passes and life seems really easy, and everything kind of works with grace. And so sometimes I think that we can make life hard for ourselves. I posted a while ago about the struggle is not real. Okay, now that's not to diminish any challenges that you have in your life. Okay, I acknowledge that, you know, life has challenges. Like, there are people that are born with disabilities. There are people that are living in war-torn countries. The Amazon is burning as we speak. So I'm not saying that there aren't problems, and I'm not saying that you aren't able to feel the emotions that come from those problems. But what I'm saying is that the struggle around it is not actually real. The struggle comes from the mindset that you put around the package, what you wrap up that experience in. And if you wrap it up with, you know, and try to see the good in any situation, it will help you to move forward through a difficult situation, even when it is really super hard, like through illness, like through grief, like through real tragedy. Even in those terrible situations which are unthinkable to even consider, you still have a choice of how you can move through that. And obviously you have to be really sensitive around that, and you've got to give yourself loads of time and space, and you've got to express all of the emotions around that. But ultimately, how people get through things like that is trying to develop this positive mindset. So mindset is truly, truly everything. And that's why, as a coach and a mentor, I absolutely love working with business women, particularly in the mum and baby area, because that's, by changing your mindset, you can just get huge results in your business. So it's not about like having this blueprint or a social media calendar. You've got to work on this deeper level around what's actually going on in your head. Like, what's really going on for you? You know, what's the real block? What's that thing that's always stopped you? What's this big story that, you know, keeps showing up in your life? What are those repeating patterns that you don't like but you want to change? All of that is the real, like, deep work that needs to be done. So as part of my mentorship, I really like lean into those spaces, and what I've shared with you over the last 5 days really is just a tiny bit of the kind of support that I like to offer all the women that I work with. So Danny says Jim Carrey is actually very inspirational. He once said to a graduation ceremony that you can either be miserable doing something you hate or make an attempt to pursue something you love and try. Yes, 100%. And she says check it out on YouTube because it will light you up. I think I've actually seen that speech and I love it. And the other one that I truly love is Steve Jobs' speech. I can't remember which fellowship ceremony he was at, but one of my favourite sayings, which is a bit macabre considering that I'm like to be very positive about things, but my big saying that I say to my kids all the time is, you will be dead soon. Okay, so you're going to be dead soon, so you've got to start doing the things that you want to do, because there is a clock ticking and nobody's coming to deliver your perfect life for you in the post. That's not going to happen. So if you're unhappy or if you want to do something, you've got to make the changes. You've got to do the work around your mindset to make it happen. So I that is a big question I ask myself when I have things that I need to think, what shall I do this? I think, well, look, you're going to be dead soon. Is this something you're going to be really glad that you did, or are you going to regret that you didn't do? And think about if that's an aligned yes, and tune into your gut and your intuition, and I'm going to make that decision, and no matter what happens, I'm just going to go with the flow and see what I'm gifted. And that just makes everything flow with a lot more grace and ease. So yes, so that is kind of what I wanted to do. Danielle says, I've decided this minute I'm going to take myself to the beach and reconnect away from the daily noise. Well, that has made my day. So enjoy that. And so that is the homework. The homework is to go away with a decision that you've been struggling to make, and tune into your gut, tune into your intuition, turn off the noise in your head. Even if you've got to wait until your partner or a friend can come around, or family, if you've got kids, just get some headspace, just get that clarity, because you know all of the answers. I promise you, you know on a deep level. And as I said on many occasions this week, when you start to grow, it feels a little bit uncomfortable because you're going out of your comfort zone, and it kind of makes sense when you think about it. And remember what I said about babies and trust. Babies grow and develop all the time. It's the natural flow and state of the world, and they just do it with completely effortless. So take yourself back to that more childlike state where you had a greater trust in the world and in yourself, and just start to notice all of the incredible things that you've already received, and how you can use those alongside your capabilities to do what it is you want to do. Right, so that is the end of the 5-day challenge. I would love to know what you thought about this week. If it's helped you, please send me some messages. You can DM me, you can send me messages on Insta Story. I'd love you to take some of the actions that we've talked about this week. And as I have mentioned briefly today, I do coaching and mentorship for women, particularly in the baby, birth and parent wellbeing industry. That's my speciality, but really to be honest, with anybody, because it's all about the mindset and the deeper work. So if you're interested in getting a little bit more of this in your life, if you'd like me to be your chief cheerleader, which is one of my favorite jobs, I'm available. I do one-to-ones in London, I have group coaching sessions, I do retreats which are truly transformational, and I'm just starting a mastermind as well, which is group coaching to help you navigate some of the challenges in business. So if you want to build up your little tribe of energized, positive people, I am here waiting. So do get in touch. And as I said, if you've loved this week, please let me know, tag and share, refer it on to somebody else that you might be able to help as well. And yeah, I'm going to be doing lots of Facebook Lives over the next few weeks anyway on other different things related to business and mindset. So keep tuning in, join our mailing list for all of our up and coming offers and events, and hopefully I might get to hang out and see you soon in person. Big love, and thanks for playing with me this week. Okay, bye. See you later, guys.